it's that time of the year where it's accountability season, right? So we got to put everything out there, get those last takes in before the draft on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sort of talk through the process, right? Through the finalization of what we've grinded for, like literally years. We have grinded for this moment. So it's time to be like, boom, put it out there. Who are the guys? Where are they at? What are you doing with them? Where do we draft them? So this is an exercise that needs to be done every single year, so we can just look back and be like, where were we right? Where was I wrong? What can I learn from those situations? So I am live with my squad members. This is another live show for the boys over here, for the men and women of Destination Devi. For all of y'all listening on the pod, watching on YouTube, just know that I will be interacting with my peoples, man. If they ask some questions, I gotta answer the people a little bit here. But let's just jump right into it. It is time to drop my top 5 wide receivers in the 2021 NFL draft class.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Now, last year I did a top 10, but at this point last year, I didn't have people paying for the fucking ranking, so I'm not doing that this year. I'm giving you top 5. If you want 6 through 30 something, 6 through 40, you know where to find me, patreon.com/allgas. And when I get off of here with y'all, I'm going to hang out with them for a little bit and talk about the movement of some of the players underneath, which is kind of a little bit more important than some of the guys in the top 5. But here we are at this critical juncture, and it's hard to differentiate between noise and actual credible sources when the reality is none of us know anything, and we're just trying to take our best guesses as to which one of these players are going to score us fantasy points. And if you rock with me for any amount of time, I always say I want players who have an opportunity to get an opportunity to score us fantasy points. That's what I'm looking for. I need to know who's going to be on the field, who's going to get the targets, who's got the opportunity to do that. And one of the biggest factors in all processes for that opportunity is draft capital. It is not the end-all, be-all. It is not, if they're drafted in the first round, they're good and they're going to be great. But it is a big indicator of opportunity. Which one of these guys are going to get drafted to where a team is going to say, we need to get him on the field sooner rather than later. That's what we're looking for. So at this point, it is not about me. It is not about how I personally feel about these guys deep down inside in my heart. And I had to learn that lesson last year. You know what's funny about last year? I am a on-field film guy. That's what I do. I love and appreciate the numbers, but I'm a film guy. I played the game. That's how I evaluate fucking talent, is on the field. Last year, the player that I had ranked wide receiver 2, I was bought all into the analytics. Just completely in breakout age adjusted production, dominator rating, market share, yada. I mean, I was through and through on Jalen Reagor, and when I trusted the analytics community with all my heart, look at what happened. He didn't pan out to be the wide receiver 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but I still am very, very confident that he will get a shot to really break out this year. But here in 2021, let's dive into a player who jumped up quite a bit for me, and it's hard to deny the smoke around his projected draft capital, where he could go. I'm hearing fits like the New Orleans Saints. I'm hearing the Green Bay Packers. Elijah Moore, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, is my 5th ranked wide receiver in this class. Listen, when you're talking about a player who has the short area agility to be a factor, who has the explosiveness, we've seen him dominate in the SEC. I said on multiple shows, on Roto Underworld, on Fantasy Pros, if Elijah Moore's first name were Rondale Moore, people would have lost their minds on the production that he had in this 2020 season. It's incredible, and not just what he did in 2020 in a shortened season, it's what he did as a true freshman for the Ole Miss Rebels. On a team that had DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, he was productive on the field as a true freshman with 2 guys who are arguably top 3 dynasty wide receivers, top 5 at worst dynasty wide receivers in A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. Elijah Moore was able to get on the field and compete with those guys. And if I had to mortgage the house right now, I have a lot more confidence that Elijah Moore is going to get higher draft capital and therefore opportunity to score us fantasy points than Rondale Moore. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff about Rondale Moore anywhere from round 1 to round 3. But I saw some stuff about him in round 4. I don't get it. I am still a very big believer in what Rondale Moore can do with the ball in his hands. But it's a far cry from him being drafted 2 years ago. First round of Devy startups, he was coming off of the board, top 10 pick. Easy top 10 pick. I was in a Devy startup. Rondale Moore was the first round pick. Jamar Chase almost went undrafted in the Devy draft. So at this point, Elijah Moore, the talent combined with the athleticism, combined with the projected draft capital, he slots into my wide receiver 5. And I think he's going to be a rock solid PPR weapon for us in fantasy football. I think Elijah Moore's a really talented kid. Glad to see him get his just due. And I'm hopeful that he's drafted in the first round here Thursday in the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, at number 4, my fourth ranked player at the wide receiver position in the 2021 class, Minnesota Gophers wide receiver Rashod Bateman, Shoddy B. Y'all know I like me some Shoddy B. Rashod Bateman has been consistently inside my top 5 the entire time. Fluctuated, moved up, wide receiver 2, 3, 4, 5. He's been inside that top 5. I think he's just a solid receiver. He's going to be a solid pro. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think that he's going to be this just fantasy, just gold mine at the receiver position. I think he's one of those players that's going to be outstanding for your real NFL club, the team that he's drafted to. That fan base will really appreciate what he brings to the table. And as far as fantasy football, I think he's going to be a solid option at the wide receiver position. Ceiling of a wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 flex play that can potentially get you some wide receiver 1 seasons. I don't know if he's going to be asked to be the guy. I don't know if we're being realistic, folks. All of these dudes can't walk in being the guy. Somebody's got to play the Robin to Batman. Someone's got to play second fiddle, right? But Rashod Bateman, Elijah Moore, these are second fiddle guys. These are not alphas. These are not your go in from day one, dominate. They are the alpha wide receiver. It's just not going to, I don't see that happening for these 2 wide receivers. But I do like the stability. I like the floor. I think they're safe players, right? And Rashod Bateman's the type of cat that 2 or 3 years down the line, he could be that. He could. We didn't think Michael Thomas was going to be the guy his rookie season, right? But Bateman has, he's not as big as we thought, but he's not some tiny ass wide receiver either. He's one of the best route runners in this class. He's sure-handed. He's athletic. He's got the hands. He checks the boxes that the analytics community likes. And when you turn on the film and you watch number 13 play, you can't deny how damn good Rashod Bateman is. So at my 4th ranked wide receiver, Rashod Bateman, Shoddy B. All right, we get into the top 3, and this is what I want to talk about here, because the player I have as my wide receiver 3, if there were long shot odds as to who would be the first wide receiver off of the board in the NFL draft on Thursday, I think Jaylen Waddle makes a case. We didn't think that Henry Ruggs would be selected ahead of Jerry Jeudy, ahead of CeeDee Lamb, ahead of Justin Jefferson. And last year, the first wide receiver off the board was the speedster Henry Ruggs. Now, I know we didn't get to see Jaylen Waddle test, but good grief, I really hope nobody out there is questioning the explosiveness and the speed of Jaylen Waddle. He is a game wrecker. He is a player that you have to account for at all times, because it only takes an inch and Jaylen Waddle can take it to the house. He's mistaken as just some speed deep threat, right? I've made the comparisons to, if there's going to be a Tyreek Hill, this is the player who it could be. And I said that from a multitude of angles. Tyreek Hill made his hay on special teams. If you go back to Kansas City, when Tyreek Hill started to make a name for himself, he was returning punts, he was returning kicks, he was this gadget player. But every time he touched the ball, you saw the speed, you saw the explosiveness. I believe that from day one, the day that Jaylen Waddle steps on an NFL field, he is arguably the best punt returner in the NFL. He's got that type of ability on special teams. Along with that, you see the speed, you see the athleticism, you see the burst, you see the juice. In the national championship game, dude was limping around out there on a broken fucking leg, and he still had juice to burn. It's insane how athletically gifted Jaylen Waddle is, and if there were a player from Alabama who I thought would be going first as a skill position guy, it's not Najee Harris, it's not DeVonta Smith, it would be Jaylen Waddle because of the speed, because of that game-breaking ability. And again, he's much more than a deep threat. Get him the ball on screens. He can run, a decent route inventory, but what he does is he threatens the secondary immediately. His explosion off of the line of scrimmage, good grief, folks, it is impressive. And I know we've all seen it, but I just can't understate and talk about how much a player like Jaylen Waddle stresses a defense, what he can do at the next level, and he may have the highest ceiling out of any of these wide receivers in the entire class. Now, at wide receiver 2, yes, the Slim Reaper, DeVonta Smith, the Slim Reaper comes in as WR2 in the 2021 class, and I'm happy. He went from a player that nobody wanted. He went out there. He did his damn thing in the 2020 season, winning the Heisman Trophy, unanimous All-American, SEC record holder in receptions, touchdowns, receiving yards in a single season. What didn't DeVonta Smith do? Gain weight. That was it. That's all he did. He just didn't gain weight. He's 166 pounds. If he hits, I understand, and I will not deny the fact that he will be an outlier from the weight, BMI, body composition standards. Understand it. And you know what? I'm fine putting a damn stamp on it because I believe that we are looking at a walking PPR machine. DeVonta Smith, he's not the best route runner in the class, but he is very, very talented off of the line of scrimmage. His hands, best in the class. Contested catch ability, I think he's tied with Jamar Chase. Both of those dudes down the field can get up and go get it. DeVonta Smith is somebody, even with that slight frame, when teams are down on the goal line, down at the 5-yard line, and they need to throw the ball in the end zone and put it up, 6'1" DeVonta Smith can go get it. His wingspan, I've said this a couple of times, y'all understand what I'm about to tell you. At 6'1", his wingspan is equal to Antonio Gandy Golden and Colin Johnson. Both of them cats are 6'4" and taller. It's insane. That one-handed grab that he made versus LSU where he jumped up and snatched that bad boy out of the air, I think they brought the measuring tape out and it was like almost close to 11 feet above the rim. That's how damn good he is with the ball, is in the air, his contested catch ability, the hands are strong. We saw that in 2019 versus Ole Miss. We saw it every damn week in 2020. Do not be concerned about DeVonta Smith and the weight. DeVonta Smith, well, he didn't do a whole bunch as a freshman. It's fucking Alabama. It's Alabama. Like, calm down. Like, it's Alabama. Go listen to Shannon Sharp's podcast with Alvin Kamara and listen to Alvin Kamara talk about walking into the running back room at Alabama and you got 7 damn 5-stars there. Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, Damian Harris, LT Tenpenny, D Hart. You got all these cats there. There's only one football to go around. That's just how it goes at these big programs. So I don't give a shit about his freshman season. I don't care that he came back as a senior. How damn dumb does that sound? I don't want to draft the player because he came back for his senior year. What the hell are we doing, people? The mental gymnastics that have gone on for the past 4 months are absolutely ridiculous. They're blasphemous, and don't listen to the foolishness. DeVonta Smith, walking PPR monster. Excited to watch where he lands here in the next couple of days. One landing spot people talk about that is disgusting, that people are like, oh, I don't want to see him go to Detroit. If he goes to Detroit, he's going to be the top dog. Like, who do they have? Perryman, Quintez Cephas, is Amendola still? I don't even know. TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift. I wouldn't hate it for DeVonta Smith. If they pair him up with Tua, that'd be dope. Wherever he goes, the Giants, I keep hearing the Giants. I don't see that as a landing spot. But DeVonta Smith checks in. He is the wide receiver too. He's one of my guys, the Slim Reaper. I'm putting my stamp on him. He's the player that I think is going to defy all odds, become that outlier, and be an absolute monster for us in Dynasty. Now, at WR1. Somebody in the chat just put Kyle Pitts. Is he my WR1? Nah, Kyle Pitts ain't my WR1. But Pitts is dope. Pitts is dope. It's Ja'Marr Chase, man. It's Ja'Marr Chase. And for me, I'm just going to be flat out honest. I didn't think he was that athletic. I didn't think. And I know them LSU Pro Day numbers juiced up a little bit. They had it juiced up. Everybody was dropping 4 threes at LSU. But what you can't juice up is a damn 40-inch vertical jump. His short, subtle stuff is good. I mean, just look at pictures of the kid. Like, I think from Ja'Marr Chase, DeVonta Smith, those are 2 guys that I think could be elite fantasy scorers. And Jaylen Waddle. I think they can be elite fantasy scorers for us. And Waddle more so down the line. But I mean, from day one, walking in and you tell me the first NFL game Ja'Marr Chase scores 22 fantasy points. DeVonta Smith has 19 fantasy points in their first NFL game. It wouldn't shock me. I'd be like, I mean, you can kind of see it, man. You can't deny it, you know? I went through the entire draft process and, you know, I talked about how good Smith was. And there had to be a conversation about wide receiver 1. And I think we got there. I feel like I did a good job. We had the conversation. It was a valid conversation. There were a lot of reasons why. Some people do have DeVonta Smith ahead of Ja'Marr Chase because he's not a perfect prospect. I don't think he's the best wide receiver since Julio Jones. I don't think he's the best wide receiver since Amari Cooper, but he's the number 1 wide receiver in this 2021 class because of the body of work, the athleticism, and then the projected draft capital to be the first wide receiver off the board here on Thursday night. And when he walks into that room in Miami, if he walks into that room in Cincinnati, I'm going to tell you right now, Bengals fans, T. Higgins, dynasty managers, you should be trembling right now. I would be shaking in my boots because if the Bengals draft Ja'Marr Chase, he's going to be the top dog in Cincy. Who's going to be asked out? If Ja'Marr Chase is the X that moves T. Higgins to the Z, you got Tyler Boyd in the slot. T. Higgins might be the guy that's asked out. I would be very, very, very weary as a T. Higgins dynasty manager of Cincinnati drafting Ja'Marr Chase. That will not bode well for T. Higgins. If he goes to Miami, see you later. Preston Williams, you're out of the door. Devontae Parker, by week 4, you will be the number 2. Will Fuller, you're going to stretch the field and do your thing, but Chase is going to be the guy. If he goes to Detroit, he's going to be the guy for Jared Goff from day 1. I mean, there are very few situations that I can see Ja'Marr Chase landing in that actually makes sense from a draft perspective, that he would walk in and be like the wide receiver 2, right? I think the Giants is where it gets interesting. If Smith goes to the Giants, he's 2 behind Kenny Galladay's 1. Chase isn't going to fall there. Does Philly try to make a move up? I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do know is outside of him landing in Dallas, Green Bay, Kansas City, New Orleans, Tennessee, Tampa Bay at 32, outside of him falling to 32, he's going to be probably the top dog for whatever NFL team he runs around. And to deny that type of opportunity in fantasy football is a bad losing proposition. Give me the cat that's walking in to 100 damn targets as a rookie, potentially barring injury. Talented player, man. He's physical after the catch. We saw that in 2019. I talked about the comp for me for Ja'Marr Chase. And I don't even think I've done a comp on Ja'Marr Chase because I've done no profiles on him. But if I had to compare him to any wide receiver, he would be a blend of Mike Evans' ability to get down the field and grab those contested catch balls. He can get down the field. Ja'Marr Chase can. I wouldn't consider him like a deep threat in the traditional sense of a Will Fuller, but he can play down the field with the physicality and the ability to break tackles and just be a monster after the catch. Like A.J. Brown. He's a combination of a Mike Evans, A.J. Brown, not from a physical size standpoint, right, folks? I got to just clarify that because when I said that, he's not 6'4", he's not 6'5", I'm not doing a physical comp as far as the size. I'm talking about the play style. He reminds me of a Mike Evans, A.J. Brown mold. I think that's what he could become at the next level, and he's pretty bust-proof, right? There's nothing that I've seen. I'm not expecting Justin Jefferson And I don't think any one of us should expect Justin Jefferson, but I don't think he's going to fail. Jamar Chase is the wide receiver uno in the 2021 NFL Draft. I got Chase. I got Smith, Waddle, Bateman, and Marr, and not the Rondale Moore. I still love him, but he doesn't crack the top 5. But we'll talk about where Marr is, where Terrace Marshall is, where Amon St. Brown is a little bit later with the squad, with the patrons. I appreciate y'all checking out the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow Destination Debbie. We are dropping shit every single day this week. It is draft week. We are ready to do it. Jay Rich and I just recorded the Black Box Show. Make sure you check that out. It was some good stuff on this episode of the Black Box Show. Make sure y'all check that out. But as always, I appreciate y'all. I'm out of this thing. Peace.